All right, you're welcome. And today we're going to look at our top 10 interview questions. Like we've discussed earlier, they're just questions that can make sure that you do excellently well in your interview. So, just I'm going to make the session as practical as possible. And we're going to be using a data set from that is football related. Okay, my choice is because I feel it's encompassing, and quite a number of people might be familiar with the football, and I do just want to narrow it down to a particular business model, so everyone don't just have the idea that it's only football really business or commerce related. All right, you can use Excel for a variety of things. Okay, so in our first question right here, just try and follow me through this session. I'm going to try and explain in details what we do and break it down step by step for you. All right, so our first question right here is it says, looking at the data provided, it is observed that when you scroll down, you lose sight of the heading, and when you scroll to the right, you lose sight of the player name. So the thing now they want you to do is to do whatever you can to make sure that the player name is fixed irrespective of the scroll direction. So now this is our data set, and in our data set you have a column for name, a column for age, height, country of birth for players, for these players here, and we have a place of birth, we have price that they were bought, maximum price, we have a position where they play, we have the shirt number, we have the foot, their dominant foot, we have their club, we have when a date where their contract expires, the date when they join the club, and the league they play for. And the list go, when I scroll down, you can see that we have quite a number of lists like that. All right, so now the question is, when you scroll down, look at the heading right here. When you scroll down, it's saying the heading disappears, right, which is normal. When you scroll to the right, the player names disappear. So they want you to make both the heading and the player name fixed on the screen, right, so that irrespective of whichever direction you scroll, the heading and the player name always appears, is always constant on the screen. So what you do is to bring your mouse to the first row after the heading, right, and the first column, first cell after the first column, that's the name, right. You would leave the player name, right, leave the heading, so you're going to select cell C2 right here, put your mouse in C2, then go to the view tab, go to freeze panes. That's what you want to do. You want to freeze the pane. All right, so there are three options for freeze panes here. You can freeze the top row. If you're only freezing only the heading, you should use this, right. If you're freezing only the name, serial number, you should do freeze first column, right. But now we are not freezing only the first row or only the name, we want to freeze both. So that's why we had to click and select this particular place to tell Excel that those things outside or before this particular cell, please freeze them. So we're going to select freeze panes. Now you can see that if I scroll down, the heading is there, and if I scroll to the right, the names are constant. I do hope that answers your question for question number 1. So question number 2 says, how many players are aged 25 or lower? How many players are aged 25 or lower? Okay, so we'll go for our data set. There is a column for age, and what do we do with age? We want to check out those who are 25 or lower. So what we're going to do is to use the count if function. We'll go to use the count if function. I'm going to say equal to count if. Remember, I want to look for players who are 25 or lower. Open our bracket, and then we can see our range. What range are we actually counting? The range that contains age, right here. Select the first cell there, which is C2. Control Shift plus arrow down. We highlight all the active rows there. Control Shift plus down. That's our range. Now what's our criteria? Our criteria is going to be less than or equal to 25. So what you're going to do next is to open your double quote, less than, equal to 25. Just type that in, then close your double quotes and close your bracket. So let's go see, and it's saying we have 101,213 players less than or equal to 25. Now let's remove those who are 25. Let's say only less than 25 from the formula, from the function, and see what we have. We have 998. But then when we added equal to 25, we have 1,213. Question 3 says a player name was misspelled as Eden Hazard instead of Eden Hazard. Find and correct this error. Alright, from what I can see right here, it's only that I think Hazard is misspelled with double Z. Okay, so we want to adjust it to only have one Z. Okay, so let's look for that. Alright, so what we should do now, you cannot actually go through all of this name one by one looking for a player called Eden Hazard in quotes. That would be long walk. That will actually be the long walk to freedom in quotes. So what you should do is to use the find and replace option, right? Use the find and replace option. The find and replace option will allow you to search through a document looking for a specific detail, a specific text, specific value easily. All right, so we'll just use our control plus H for replace, control plus F for find. Right, so what we're going to replace right now, we're going to find, when the dialog box open, under the find word section, please search for Eden Hazard, the wrong one please, then replace it with Eden Hazard, the right one. Then you select replace all. So it's going to look for Eden Hazard in the old text and replace it. So well done, all done. We have made one replacement. That's okay. So we can close this. Now let's actually look for Eden Hazard. We're going to find Eden Hazard this time. Hazard. Now look at Eden Hazard here. It's now correct. So that's how you actually look for a missing value in something like this, and then you correct it quickly instead of you going to look for it one by one. All right, let's move on to the next question. Number 4 says how many players are registered to Liverpool? How many players are registered to Liverpool? So there's a column for clubs here, and I think Liverpool is one of the clubs that are here. So how many of these players are registered to Liverpool? That's what we want to do, and we're going to just use the count option again. We're going to count if the player is registered to Liverpool. So it's going to be equal to count if, right? Open your bracket and then say what is our range. Our range is going to be the club, right? The club here. Control, select the first cell, control shift plus down also to highlight everything, then command. What's the criteria? The criteria is going to be open double quotes, Liverpool, close your double quotes and close your brackets. So it's saying there are 30 players registered to Liverpool. I do hope you understand how we've come this far. So if you go ahead and scroll down, let me find Liverpool. Now you can see Liverpool. If you go ahead and count each of these Liverpool right here, you should have about 30 of them. So that's the way it works with that question. That's the best way to solve and answer the question. The question number 5 right now says what is the average age of all the players? The average age of all the players. All right, so what you want to do is to just go to find average. Your question could be like, find the average quantity sold for your product in the month, find the average, whatever it is. As long as it's average, what you need to do is to go ahead and type in average, which is a function, an inbuilt function in Excel, and then look for age. They are saying average age. What's the column for age? Column for age, select the first one, Ctrl Shift plus down, and then close your bracket. So the average age is 26.3, and for age you don't really need the decimal, so you can just take out all the decimal by selecting this. So we have 26 years as the average age. Are we there, please? And I hope you are understanding what we're doing so far. Question number 6 says, what is the total amount, or what is the total price spent by clubs in the EPL? All right, so there are multiple leagues here. You have the EPL, you have if you scroll further down, I think you have Serie A, you have La Liga. I'm just trying to scroll down so we can see those other leagues. Okay, so these are others. These are Bundesliga, you see Serie A, you see plenty of other leagues. So what they are saying, what is the average price, what's the average amount spent by the EPL? So what you should now do is okay, sorry, they were saying what is the total price spent by the EPL. So what you should do is to do the sum if option. Sum if, and then you can see what's the range. The range is the league, which is the EPL. Ctrl Shift plus down again. What's the criteria? Our criteria is open your brackets, we have EPL, sorry, open double quotes and then type EPL. And what's the sum range? Our sum range is the price where we have the price spent, the money spent on player. Okay, so we have a price column here, and I'm going to Ctrl Shift plus down again until I get to the end of the screen. Then I close my bracket, and it's saying 9,443 is the average price spent by EPL. 9,443. Now, depending on the currency you're using and the units, it could be in thousand, it could be in millions, it could be in billion, I don't know. But for now, from the value we have here, we would say it's 9,443. Question 7 says filter the data to show only data from La Liga. Okay, so sometimes you have bulky data like this and you don't really need all of it. All you need is actually just a particular segment of the whole data, so that's for efficiency. Sometimes you can have 10,000 rows of data and you don't want to just go and be looking for 10,000 data that are irrelevant. You just want to actually pinpoint certain part of the data for your use almost immediately. So what you should do is to, okay, so in this case now we should filter it, right? Just filter the data set. Just click in the data table or in the data set and look for, under the home tab, look for sort and filter. Then you can use the filter button, and then you have all of these options here. Now they said we should filter to show only club that are in La Liga. So under the league options, let's go ahead and select league. We will deselect everything since they are all selected and select only La Liga. Then okay. Now it has taken out all the other leagues and it's showing us only that of La Liga. Now you can also do well to just say, okay, show me La Liga and Serie A. Punch OK. So if we scroll down, you will probably see Serie A somewhere. Okay, so this is Serie A. Alright, so that's the way you filter and take out the junk from certain, in this case now it's not junk, but we don't need it, so it's junk for us. To take out that. Now if you're done with this filter, please go ahead and select all, and then clear filter from league. So when you do that, you have your original data back. Remember to always clear your filter to have your original data back. All right. Question 8 says, what is the total amount price spent on player? What's the total price? What's the total amount spent on players? Now in this case, it's not being specific to any of the leagues. It's just asking what's the total price spent on players. So I'm just going to say equal to sum. Open my bracket. We are going to look for the column that contains prices right here. That's column G2, and then we'll Control Shift plus down. Now in this case, you probably see that it's broken. That's because when you press Control Shift plus down, Excel just selects every cell that looks similar, right? Now in this case, there is a break, there's an empty cell, that's why it stopped. So just if you're sure that you're not at the end of the sheet here, go ahead and press Control Shift plus down again until you get to the end of your data set. All right, so I'll just keep doing that till I get to where we want to be, which is here, and then I close my bracket, punch OK, and then it's saying all the clubs together spent 27,713. Remember when we were working on EPL the other time, I think it was about 9,000 plus, but for all the leagues together, everybody together, it's about 27,713. I do hope you understand that so far. Question number 9 says, who is the oldest player across all the club? Who is the oldest player across all the club? Okay, so there are quite a number of ways to do this, but I think the best way to do it is to actually just filter this thing out again. We want to filter it out to only show us the oldest player in here. All right, so the oldest player will be the person who joined the club the oldest. See, we are in 2023. We'll be looking for someone who joined whose date of joining the club is the oldest from all of these sets of player. All right, so what we should now do is also to filter again. Sort and filter, go ahead, and then we'll be looking at joined club, the dates. Now look at all these dates. You have 23, 22, 21. We're gonna scroll down. Then we have 2008, 2009. So I'm going to just first of all deselect everything. So it is deselected. So we'll go to the last date here, 2008. Check out the last month. The last month is also July. All right, so that's fine. Just select OK. Now it has filtered everything out. These are the oldest player in the clubs. These two people joined in 2008, July 1st, 2008. So they are the oldest player in the clubs, and that answers our question. Sergio Busquets and Stefan Radu. I do hope you understand what we've done so far. Okay, so I'm going to just okay, so let's see. All right, so I'm just going to close that chapter for now, and then let's clear the filter from this also, so we have all our data sets back. And question number 10, the last but not the least, how many players are provided? How many players are in the data sets provided? How many players are in the data sets provided? All right, so what we're going to do is you can't actually start counting each of these one by one. That would be wrong because you don't know how far you have to count. All right, so what you need to do is to use the count function. Counter function allows you to count cells that are not empty, and we know one thing is for certain: their names are not empty, right? In the case of age, we saw some blank cells the other time, but one thing we are certain of is all of them have a name. So we're going to use counter, and we're going to see b2 Control Shift plus down again to the end of the column, which is B2613, then close our brackets. So it's saying there are 2,612 players in the data set. 2,612 players in the data set. Now imagine you have to count this one by one. You probably sleep there today. And that's the beauty of working or knowing the right functions or formula to use with Microsoft Excel. All right, since you have been here so far, I want to quickly introduce you to our academy. All right, so we have an academy where you can master Excel in 30 days for a fact. Yes, in 30 days you can master Excel, and if you fail on our promise, yes, we'll be refunding you. We'll be giving you a cashback price of 5,500 naira only. Yes, this is guaranteed. And if you're interested, please check out the details on the website on the screen. You can just visit our website to know more about this detail for free. And since you have been here, I have one more bonus for you. Yes, one more bonus questions to have seen for you to have come this far. So let's quickly solve that together. And the question says, make a unique list of all the clubs in the data set. So there is a column for club, which is this. Column L contains clubs. So we want to make a unique list. There are different clubs there, but the question is, it's either you actually start writing the names one by one. Man City 1, Chelsea 2, Chelsea under 21 3, because it is also a unique one, Arsenal 4, Liverpool 5, and things like that. All right, so what you should do is to use the unique function, unique, and then select the first cell here. Control Shift plus down again to select it up to the last cell. Close your bracket and then punch enter. Then automatically Excel helps you with the list, and we have a list of our unique clubs in the data set. Man City, Chelsea under 21. You can see Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth, up and down to AC Ajaccio. All right, so these are all this is what we have for you today, and I'm sure that you've learned something. Please, if you do well to leave me a comment on WhatsApp. I would love to actually hear your feedback. And this is where I draw the curtain for today, and don't worry, I'll continue to drop insightful content for you, and you're going to enjoy the program. Thank you. I'll see you again.